hear you.
Hello.
Oh. Welcome in, welcome in. Oh my gosh, guys. You're here for Highlight Heroes with the amazing Ameliasom.
Hello.
Oh, we're going to get to that in a second, but first, Parker, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a busy day, but we're here now. It's going to be fun on a bun. Now, guys, again, our amazing guest is Ameliasom. Amelia, where can the people find you? What are you doing? What are you working on? Tell them all about it.
Okay, you can find me most places at Ameliasom or Twitter at Amelia_Som, or if you want to go above and beyond, you can just go to links.ameliasom.com, and then you can follow me every single place I have stuff. I make TikToks. You can see me streaming Tuesdays at Large Network. Tomorrow is going to be the last Tuesday until December, because I'm taking a little break with Atypical Table, our roguelike campaign, and chaotic is an understatement. I know everyone says it's going to be chaotic, but chaotic is an understatement. I guarantee it.
Judging by the tweets, yes, this is accurate.
Yeah. You can also find me, where else? I will be on Sidetracked RPG, created by Brooklyn Tuesday, coming up next year. And I have other projects that I'm not allowed to talk about right now, so I'm not going to, but they're there. And so if you want to see me in them, you should follow me on like Twitter or TikTok or something, and then you can see them when they happen. They're no longer secrets.
It's like a stay tuned for more sort of thing, guys. Yeah. Get in there now so that you're ahead of the curve.
Yeah, getting hot.
Well, we're going to ask you a whole bunch of questions here in a second, Amelia. But first, Parker and I are going to do some announcements. Parker, you want to take us away?
Sure. I'm here to tell you guys that for the next week, we're going to have our weekly campaigns, and that's pretty much it. We're towards the end of the month. So Friday, you can join us for Off the Rails. Saturday, you can join us for Conundrum Company. Then there will be a new monthly schedule posted over on our Instagram, so make sure to follow us there so you can see what we're up to for the entire month of November. We also have our community event that you guys funded with your Tweet tokens, Conundrum Babies. It airs on November 21st, so you can join the cast of Conundrum Company for a special non-canonical playground adventure that we're going to have tons of fun in. God knows what it'll be like. I can't wait to play Demi as a child.
It's Rugrats in Paris is what's coming, my friend.
Dude, I love that fucking movie.
Prepare thyself.
So amazing. I love it.
Let the dogs out. Okay, anyway, continue. You're up.
Okay, I'm up. Yeah, and none of this amazing programming, like Rugrats in Paris, but D&D, could occur without our fantastic sponsors. The first of whom is Skull Splitter Dice. Oh, wow, that was good. That's a good. Yeah. I liked that, yeah. Skull Splitter Dice, not only do they sponsor our shows, but they also sponsor a really cool giveaway that we run during our campaign sessions and our one-shots, so stick around to get entered in that in one of those shows. In the meantime, though, click on the link in chat and go check out their products. Skull Splitter is very good. We love them. They've been with us for a long time.
Very good.
Yes, very good dice. Of course, our second sponsor is the gooeyest of cube companies, Gooey Cube. Guys, if you don't have time to homebrew an entire world for yourselves, and some folks don't, and that's okay, you can pick up Gooey Cube's entire world, Xyethel, immaculately constructed from the ground up with beautiful art, beautiful custom races and classes and all kinds of things. We highly recommend you check it out. The link is in chat. Go check out Gooey Cube. A huge shout out to our friends who work on the Twitkyard campaign, folks, and the Mithril Warlock. Amazing friends of the show who do a lot of work there. There's a bunch of information on all of our shows. Check it out. Links in chat. Guys, we are getting close to the end of our Inktober fan art competition. Very close.
2 days.
2 days. So if you want to get a little bit of last minute art in there for one of our campaigns, you can send it to askthewelcomein@gmail.com. And you will be entered in a chance to win a swag bundle from the Welcome In. So if you want cool Welcome In merch for free, well, not free, because art is an incredible amount of work and effort, and we respect you. But if you'd like some merch, send some fan art in. So 2 days remaining on that. Yeah, I do math good.
2 days.
Last but not least, serious announcement, obviously, this month's charity is a very important one. We'd like to focus our donations on the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. The Breast Cancer Research Foundation is dedicated to ending breast cancer by advancing the world's most promising research. Guys, rather than spending money on bits, on subs, instead click on the donate button in the About Us section or the link in chat. Go over, it's going to take you straight to the donate section. Make a donation in a friend's name, a loved one's name, your own name, our name, whatever it takes. But that is the best way to spend your money on good causes, okay? And with that, I think we're done with announcements. Anything anyone else wants to announce just for funsies?
I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. Oh my gosh. Okay, so shall we talk about the fun we done? So here's the mini I'm working on. Good, cool, done. Orange jacket, awesome. Parker, what you got?
I'm working on the Halloween salamander that I was working on last time.
Ah, festive. I love those feet.
He's gonna be so cute. Last time I did a Halloween nightmare dragon. I just never want to paint a mini like it's supposed to be painted. So we're doing it again.
It looks adorable. Now,
I need to grab something really quick.
Okay.
I can still hear you. I'm just walking 2 steps over here, so you can feel free to keep talking. I can hear it.
2 steps.
Perfect.
2 steps. Yeah. Well, we're about to find out what Amelia is working on. There's a whole bunch of paints being gathered. Is that accurate? Is that what I'm seeing?
What you're seeing me gather is I needed a thing to put the paint on.
Ah,
valid. As I realized putting it on newspaper was probably not a great idea. So we're just going to put it in these little plastic containers that I save because I save every jar that comes near me.
I do that same thing.
Yeah. Thank you, food delivery service that doesn't sponsor, so no clout, no free clout.
No free clout.
Pay us.
Yeah.
JK.
But
in this brief 30 minutes where we've been preparing this show, what I've learned about you, Amelia, immediately is that you are always prepared for everything in your general vicinity, like within 5 feet of you. Everything you need is prepped and ready to go.
Correct. Let's show my mini. It's a minier than the one I was gonna do because I painted a mini once in my life. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I know how to put paint on stuff. Yeah. So it's a little gerblin on a spider.
Oh, that's so good.
On a spider.
Those are gorgeous minis. I am very envious. They're beautiful.
They're much better minis than I have any right to own.
Oh my gosh.
So and you're pretty new to this. You said you painted one at Gen Con and that's about it, right?
Yeah, 2019, so 2 years ago, and I lost it immediately after. Like not an hour after having that mini did I put it down somewhere and forget about it.
So, question for you. Mm-hmm. At Gen Con, did you get any pro tips and did you retain them at all?
I cannot answer the former. And I like to think that the latter may just be, maybe deep in the recesses of my consciousness, whatever the people... I did have, because there was a little paint a mini thing at Gen Con that year, so I did that. But I do remember there was a person whose name I forgot. I did have a 20-minute conversation with this guy who painted minis and had Twitch streams and all of that and was a professional. If he told me anything, it's just rattling around back here. It's like Einstein at the patent office,
It's been stored away for later reference.
Yeah, it's just, I like to think that everything I'm doing right now is underscored with the thoughts of a master painter.
Perfect. You know what? There's a subconscious genius behind that brush. Mm-hmm. I'm manifesting that with you. I like it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I need all the help I can get.
Perfect.
Well, we look forward to seeing the final product. Now, we do say this to every guest. You may not get very far because question and paint hard combo. So I'm curious to see if you can split your brain in half and do both things at the same time. That should be fun.
My experience from trying to work on commissions, art commissions while on live streams would indicate no. But we'll see.
Well, here's hoping,
Very
guys.
Rough. All right. So, how did you get into D&D?
Oh, okay. So it all started back in college when I always knew that I would want to play D&D in high school because I love role play and I love fantasy as a genre. But can't paint and talk at the same time. Learned to figure that out.
Valid.
But I didn't know anyone in high school I wanted to play with. So when I was in college, there was this guy named Sam. We are still friends. He still DMs a game that I play in.
Aww.
Who I knew played Dungeons and Dragons, and because he talked about it a little bit, and he was on the TEDx organizing team for our college. Mm-hmm. And so I joined the TEDx team and then I was I'm going to become friends with Sam, so Sam will invite me to play D&D with him. And then it worked. It did have the unfortunate side effect that I did also end up organizing TEDx the next year instead of just kind of being in the background. But that was fun. I guess that was a lot of good experience. And so I was playing with him. I had never watched an actual play or anything beforehand, so I had no idea going into it that it was a game that people would just sit down and play for like hours at a time. It's like, oh, we're just gonna sit here and play a game for 4 hours, cool. And then when we graduated college, I was just assuming, well, we were doing this fun thing and then we graduate and now it's over forever, until Sam was like, okay, I'm gonna give you guys a link to Roll20 and I'll show you guys how to set up the campaign. And that was 3-ish years ago, and we've been playing since.
You're still at it.
Yeah, because I was just like, oh, I guess we just keep doing this, and now I think I just do it until I die. And then yeah, that's how I got into D&D. And when we were playing, they kept referencing this game called Critical Role that I knew nothing about, and we're like, this is really fun, you should watch it, you'd probably like it. And then that's how I started watching actual plays. And then one of my friends was doing her senior project, because she was a film major, producing a podcast, and she wanted it to be a D&D podcast because she had watched The Adventure Zone, another thing I was not very much into like D&D culture. I was just like, I'm just going to show up and roll dice and leave.
You like the game.
I like the game. It's for the love of the game. So, yeah, so she wanted to do a D&D podcast, and I was like, wait, people just like listen to other people play D&D? Like, they don't even watch it, they just listen? Apparently they do, and now I do too. And yeah, so been doing that for a few years as well.
So you really had a long journey with D&D through many, many parts of the D&D world. It's crazy how big this community is. That.
Yeah. I just love the statement of, I decided I needed to be friends with Sam because I wanted to play D&D. Yeah. I'm like, what a mood.
Also happy to be friends with Sam. I do enjoy just being friends with Sam in general. There's no way Sam is watching this, but if he is,
case you're like,
just in case.
You just send it along and be like, here. I don't talk about you.
I enjoy it because I joked all the time that I needed to find somebody who liked me enough to DM for me. And then somehow I wormed my way into Josh's life and was like, hey.
Ew.
Hello?
And now
I would love to do this now.
D&D.
Yeah.
We do.
There was like a board game club at my college that I went to like a couple meetings of. I didn't really like the energy there. And yeah, the thing I liked about like the group with Sam is like I wasn't the only girl and not the only person of color. So it was like, oh, that's nice.
That is
good.
Yes. It's got to be hard, like, dealing with that.
Yeah. On top of everything else.
Yeah, like finding a community that feels like the right fit for you when it's a lot of white dudes.
Yeah, believe it or not. There's a lot of white men who play D&D.
Who'd have thunk?
It's insane.
A lot of them have some real bad takes on the world, too. But anyway. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So, okay, so that's how you got into D&D. So now we get into the real questions. What's your favorite class to play, and why?
Okay, let's see. My favorite... So, I have this thing where every time I roll a new character, I try and pick a class I haven't played. I used to pick a race I didn't play, but then I just kind of pick Aasimar and be done with it. But I think my favorite class to play may be Cleric. I'm in a Rime of the Frostmaiden campaign right now, where I'm playing a custom Frost domain Cleric.
Ooh.
She's a human, and it's basically just Tempest domain reflavored to be ice flavored. If you know anything about Rime of the Frostmaiden, my patron is Arl, so you can imagine the campaign's been very fun and difficult. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
That is challenging.
It's been great though, but yeah, I think Clerics might be my favorite class to play, although 2022, I have decided, is going to be my soft boy Paladin year. So at least for the beginning of the year, every campaign I'm in, I am playing a soft boy Paladin or the equivalent of it. I like... Listen, I like... Barbarians are fun because it's just no thoughts, head empty, I rage and hit.
Valid.
But like... I feel like I prefer a little bit more mechanical stuff to play around with. So, like, if I'm going melee, I probably want to be a fighter or a monk. I do rogues sometimes. I like rogues. There's nothing wrong with rogues, but they're just not, like, that energy just isn't my specific energy.
Okay? Yeah, I get that. I get that.
And yeah. Also, I never remember that I can use Uncanny Dodge. So, like, that's always bad. Like, it was the point where I was playing with my friends online, and he would set a sign in front of us. This is the same Sam. See, now we're building on the lore of Sam.
We're building on
Yeah.
This legend that is Sam.
Yeah, he would put a sign in front of his webcam, like taped to a tissue box that just says Anastasia has uncanny dodge whenever we started combat. So I would remember that my character could use uncanny dodge, because I was like, why am I dying so quickly? Yes, I am not using the mechanics of the class I am playing.
What a mood.
Clerics. They're the best. They're very strong.
If you had to pick a class to make an entire like party out of, everyone being one class, like clerics are just so versatile. You can stretch them in any direction. If you want to go the casting route, if you want to go the tanking route, if you want to go the support route, like it's possible. And I think one thing that like anyone who can like spec and melee, because you can make a cleric that is just like a melee fighter, like, and kind of put the spells on the back burner if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
Is that you can choose whether or not you spec into dex or strength, and then you can just kind of fuck around and be a weak ass cleric who can just stab things really well instead of smacking things really well.
It's so strong. It's just a good. There's a lot of utility, solid utility in a lot of directions. Preach.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I also want to clarify that Sam was not a DM at this time when he put the sign up. He was a party member who was like, why are you dying so fast?
That is funny. So I think we might have gotten the answer to this one, but it's your favorite race to play the Aasimar race?
I would say so. So back when my first character died, I was like permanently died. She got stabbed on an island where everything became undead, turned into a zombie. And because I didn't know how D&D worked when I made my first character, she was a sorcerer with 15 strength.
Oh.
And like 9 con.
Unique.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is to say she got turned into a zombie because everything on the island was undead. And it was really hard for the party to like restrain her because I kept rolling really well and they kept rolling like shit and I had a better strength mod. And so yeah, then I don't know, I got like stabbed by a unicorn so I could like die without being cursed. Anywho, I was upset. I was mad at Sam for killing my character, my precious baby darling. And we needed to roll a new character. So I was like, oh, I just want her to be pretty because all my characters are canonically hot. And so I was like, oh, you probably want to be I literally opened Xanathar's Guide to Everything, and like Aasimar is like one of the first entries because it's AA. And I like looked at it and I was like, this is all I needed to see. I was like, I could be pretty angel girl and canonically attractive. And then he was like, oh, if you want to be pretty, you should be a glamour bard. I was like, what's a glamour bard? And it's like, oh, I'm like, my character is just canonically attractive and then gets magic for being hot. Like, yes, amazing. I just really like Aasimar because sometimes all I want to do is play a human with dark vision, you know?
Ugh, a mood.
And that's like why I play Aasimar.
Sometimes all I want to do is have dark vision, as I've learned in the campaign that I'm in now. Sometimes all I want to do, when Josh gets to be like, and everybody except for Demi sees the, and I'm like, ha, oops.
Well, fortunately, I have a couple players who have penchants for Ganassi, and it makes it easy to hide things from you guys.
It does. We like a Ganassi.
Yeah.
They do be good.
So okay, so you talked about a lot of classes that you like, and you've kind of touched upon this a little bit, but is there like a class you haven't played that you want to try next? Or if you've played them all, is there one that like you've got queued up, you're like really ready to revisit?
Okay. Here's the thing. There is only one class I have not played in Dungeons and Dragons. Just one dungeon, actually. One dungeon.
That singular dungeon, yeah. We all play in the same dungeon.
It's madness.
They co-lease the dungeon.
Yeah. It's a timeshare. Is the Artificer.
Really?
I also refuse to formally acknowledge the Artificers exist because I have played every class in Dungeons and Dragons and I haven't played an Artificer, therefore Artificers must not be real.
Ah, I see.
Object
permanence. Yeah, that correct. I get it. Yeah, you don't need that.
My experiences are the truths of the universe. And yeah, people. Okay, yeah, Pinsnip. Artificers are so much fun. People people keep telling me, Amelia, you specifically would like Artificers if they existed. Right. Yeah, if they existed.
If they were a real thing. Got it, yeah.
Because I tend to like... I love the crunch. So...
Yeah, they crunchy.
They seem... Yeah, I like a little bit of crunch, you know? I like to add some granola in there. Some flavor.
Mm-hmm.
How many dice pools and features can we give you? All of them.
Right. Like, how complicated can we make this? And then I am there. Am I gonna, like, forget things all of the time? Absolutely. But that's my problem, not yours.
Mood.
Yeah, but Paladin, so yeah, I refuse to acknowledge that Artificers exist. I already decided 2022 is going to be the year of the Paladin, parentheses, soft boy, but not everyone has to be a soft boy Paladin. Because I've only played a Paladin in a one-shot, but I played several campaigns where other people are Paladins, and I just want to know what's the deal with all the smites, you know? Like a Paladin, you see a Paladin, they roll as many dice as they want to every time they attack, and they one-shot the bad guy. And I'm like, okay, I would like that power. Because I don't usually go for DPS builds.
Yeah.
And...
You like a utility kind of person?
More utility and support.
Valid.
Except for the one cleric I play. I went for DPS and then act really annoyed whenever I have to waste my spell slots on healing. But we just got a bard in the party who... Also, I roll like shit every time I heal. Like, I roll once on every dice. When I heal other people, unless I heal myself. So I was like, literally, like, the dice gods don't want me to be a healer. That's not my fault.
Yeah, just don't stand in damage, guys. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
The dice are telling a story and none of you are gonna like.
Right? The dice know. But yeah, so Paladins I kind of want to explore, although I was told, jokingly, not seriously, that I was playing my Paladin wrong because I was casting spells with them instead of just saving them for smite slot. So,
you know,
we'll see if I can adapt to that.
Sometimes you just want to do a little bit of juicy nonsense with some spells, right?
Like, yeah, sometimes. It's literally, that's the magic of it.
Why have spell if no use?
Exactly.
I have spell if no use.
Oh my god, this paint is horrible.
Oh my gosh. So, I know that we now know that you love Aasimar and you love the hot characters. So, do you have a race that you want to try next, or are we staying with angels?
Okay, let me think. I'm trying to think. I always go, I feel like I should expand to play something that is short, because I always play, like, the shortest I just always play really tall people or races, and I don't think I've played a small race in quite some time. Like, I played a dwarf once, but I've never played a gnome. I don't think I've played a halfling. So I think that's... It's like, what is it like to not be able to see over everything, you know?
Yeah.
What's it like to crouch into small spaces? What's it like to know that if you cast a reduced spell, I could feasibly ride on someone's familiar?
Truly the big questions, honestly.
Yeah.
You're asking
So I think
things.
that's probably the direction I'm going to go. Although I am playing in a... Oh... Never mind, I'm not supposed to say. Well,
secrets.
One of the projects I'm doing is Star Wars related, so I am playing a Twi'lek, which isn't short, but it is not an Aasimar.
That's true. Well, that also sounds very interesting. Make sure you follow Amelia if you want that information soon.
Yep.
Because Star Wars is good shit.
Important.
Good soup.
Good soup.
Adam Driver, Star Wars. I did it. Okay. All right. Here are the
Really
really hot...
connection.
It's hot take time. This is where you get yourself into trouble by telling us your least favorite class. What is the most garbage class in all of D&D that you just won't touch?
Okay. I would say there's a class that I, like, won't touch, but, like...
You're least likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one you avoid.
The one that you'd literally have to be like, someone told me to play this.
They made me do it.
I do not super care for wizards.
Oh, okay. Do we have a why?
Tell me more.
I don't know if I have much of a why. It's just there's nothing about like I'll play a wizard every now and again, and it's just I don't know. Why would I play a wizard when I could play a sorcerer? I know people are like, oh, technically there's like you get fewer spell slots as a sorcerer, you get access to fewer spells because when you're a wizard you can like use it. But it's like, okay, I don't want to spend time in my campaign trying to figure out when I am going to sit down and copy spells.
I have... As soon as you started saying that, my brain went, I also have never really, I've never really considered it. Do you think it has anything to do with, like, burnt out gifted kid?
Yeah.
Do you think, like, it has to do with something like I would rather just immediately get my spells instead of having to sit here and learn them again?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Because my brain went, I don't want to study.
I don't want to study. I just would simply, if I were magic, I would simply know how to cast spells.
I would simply be.
But, like, I also think the thing that kind of is unfortunate with wizards is that, like, because I've talked to people about this, and people are like, you know, you get spells when you level up anyways. You don't always have to copy spells. But, like, one of the things of the wizard class, like, if you consider each class getting a perk, if you are not writing your own spells at any point, you're that's one of the big things wizards can do. And it's just kind of like frustrating depending on what campaign you're in. You have to be in a campaign where you have enough money and you have enough downtime to do that, because also you're weak as shit. Like, if I wanted to cast spells, I would simply play a druid or something. At least I get a D8 hit dice. At least I get leather armor.
It's an interesting point you make, because wizards do require an intentional DM. There are a few classes like that really, even just at like a base level. Too. Yep, ranger, like, you have to be intentional. Wizards, you have to be intentional.
Right, which is why, like, again, I don't hate wizards. It's just if I had to rank someone at the bottom, I'm picking a wizard, because I feel like most other classes, if I were just to take a character, you could drop it feasibly into any campaign. You know, like, you could build a character for a specific campaign, but like a wizard, like, I'm thinking a lot, mostly because I'm playing in Rime of the Frost Maiden right now, and I won't spoil anything if people haven't played it. But, like, it is, by setting, by nature, a very harsh and brutal campaign. And it has things built in the module, like, you know, you come across a spell book and things every now and then, and I'm like, how the fuck did you get your wizard here? How did your wizard last this far into the module? I have no idea. Like,
it just came with, like, a million things of paper.
Right? It's like, oh, here's a spell book, or here's wizard exclusive spells. But, like, there's a wizard exclusive spell that, like, you know, that came out with a module, and a module that is the most hostile to wizards. Like, they want you to roll a wizard so you can die and be sad about all the things you're missing out on.
Oh.
It sounds like you've got a fight with wizards to tell. Wizards the company, not the class.
I mean, yeah.
There's lots of fights to be had there, though, right?
There's so many fights.
That's funny.
That's valid, though. That's interesting. That's a very interesting take.
Yeah. I'm also, like, I'm not contractually obligated, but I decided to stop shitting on rangers. Because everyone does it, and honestly, I feel like people are mostly doing it for the meme. They're fine. The thing with a ranger is, like, they're a boring class unless they're in the hands of a really good player. Like, and that's not even an insult, but, like, there's just so many things about playing them that you really need to know the mechanics and know how to, like, worm your way into it. Like, I just finished watching The Seven earlier today, the Dimension 20 show, and Abria's ranger is phenomenal, and that is because Abria has a good grasp on her class abilities, how to utilize them, and where to position her character, both in and out of combat. And so I think that's the other thing too. I wish more people would, like, understand that it's okay to not play a character to the maximum efficiency, because the way most people run D&D campaigns, that is not necessary to be successful. Like, maybe if you're, like, an adventure league or something, or, you know, playing something that's super, super crunchy, it matters more. But I'm just like...
Well, some of that's personal preference, right? Like, I have had players in a game where one will be very frustrated about the potency of their class, and it's something that you have to, like, work with them on to make sure they're good with that. And others will be like, I don't care. That's not relevant to me. It doesn't matter. I'm okay whiffing every time. And that's...
I've had experiences with that where even, and like Josh knows this, with Demi, the bard that I play on Saturdays, like there were times where we were like, do we need to talk about combat things? And I was like, here's the one thing, but like I made that character choice for myself. Like I chose to pick her spells like this because of the way I wrote this character. Yeah. This is a me thing. I did this. I'll sleep in this bed.
Me dumping charisma and wisdom in a Curse of Strahd campaign. Look, I don't care. Like, I do care. I'm gonna play this. Like, I'm not trying to screw over the party in gameplay, but I will do everything to screw over the party in the setup of the game.
Oh my gosh.
Subvert expectations!
Yeah. It's more fun. Also, like, sometimes you do have to challenge yourself. It's like, oh, yeah, sure. Should I min-max for efficiency, or should I min-max so I can have a joke? Like, my first D&D character, I was just trying to see how many languages I could make her know starting off the bat. She started out with 9.
Ooh.
Because we started at level 5, so I got a feat. It's like, should I take something that makes me better in combat, or should I take the linguist feat?
The flavor. The flavor is immaculate.
Yeah.
Listen, I will always choose flavor.
Always.
I will always do that.
Well, sometimes... Like, oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, I always choose flavor. I just simply roll the dice well. And then it doesn't matter what your numbers are.
Sometimes you also stumble into bottled lightning with a meme, right? Like, I made a barbarian because, barbarians. And it is a fantastic combination, even though charisma is not a good score for me. Because you just got to pick the right spells. And it's like, done.
So, another hot take. Do you have a least favorite race to play, and why? Is there one that just, you look at the book and you go, not really interested?
No, thank you.
I have not ever been interested in playing a gnome.
Fair.
I don't even think I have a reason for it. I think, A, they're really short. Nothing against our short kings and queens and otherwise gendered monarchs. But there's just nothing in the gnome class that really gets to me. I don't have anything. I feel like I don't have a lot of super like hot incendiary D&D takes because at the end of the day, I'm like, we are sitting here playing make-believe. So like really I can't throw. I was telling someone, I was like, I would never be afraid of like, I could never be intimidated by anyone in the D&D community, like at all. Like any person in any D&D community, I could not be intimidated by them because we are all sitting around playing make-believe and I know that.
The idea, I think it's interesting, like a hierarchy at all in the D&D community, because it's like, you realize we're all sitting around playing pretend.
We're playing pretend. We are playing pretend. We're not only are we playing pretend, but we're playing pretend with rules.
Yeah.
Like,
how dare you disrespect my rules in the sanctity of this pretend play.
Right? So, yeah.
I enjoy that.
So, like, a lot of my D&D takes are like, I mean, I don't like this, but then someone's like, well, this is my favorite. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
I think a lot of that also has to do with, like, it's okay for everybody to have something that they don't like to play.
Yeah.
Because then you don't play it, and the people that do want to play it can play it and enjoy it. Like,
that's the spirit of the joke, too, of these questions.
Like,
is like, it doesn't
it's very fun.
Who cares?
And it's like, also, if we all want to play different classes and different races, congrats. We're an adventuring party.
It's almost like taste exists.
Cool.
Yeah, it's almost like personal taste exists.
I mean, it's funny because, like, we've seen that in other episodes. Like, we asked these questions, and, like, Josh's favorite race is dwarves. I don't see myself playing a dwarf. I don't. It's not my thing.
Stupid garbage, and we hate them.
No, I love them, but I love them when other people play them.
For you.
I love it for you.
That for you. That's such a great color on you.
Yeah. My color leans more towards, like, you know, tieflings and ganassi. Yeah. But
I could sense this about you, yes.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a little, but it's fine. So, yeah, but I don't know. I think that varying taste is a lot of fun.
It's a good way to do it. Okay. So we're getting near to the end, my friends, so prepare your questions. In chat, if you highlight them, it's going to be a lot easier for us to catch them, to read them off. But we've got 2 questions left, and that first question from us is... Okay, So you've been doing content creation for a while now. You talked about your D&D journey, and it sounds like you started in D&D and kind of ended up in content creation. What's your origin story for becoming a content creator?
So, back in 2020, I don't know if you guys know this, but there was this like coronavirus pandemic that started in March.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's like not very well like advertised, so it's kind of underground. Not a whole lot of people know about it.
It sounds like you're talking about an indie band.
Yeah. Oh, you guys haven't heard of COVID? Oh, okay.
I knew them before they were cool.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, though, I had a friend who was living, working abroad in China and had gone through the Wuhan district, like, in January. So I did actually know about COVID before it was cool, because I was getting a play-by-play of everything going on in China, like, at the end of December.
Oh, that's crazy.
Anyway. Yeah, I'm gatekeeping COVID information. But okay, so what were we talking about? Oh yeah, starting content creation. Yeah, so I just started making TikToks because my job had ended right before the pandemic, and I was just kind of at home at my parents. I wasn't like in the great place emotionally, and I was kind of bored, as many of us were. And so I just kind of made TikToks that I thought were funny. And some other people thought they were funny, and then like I made like my first TikTok to get like over 1,000 views was me making a joke, like a D&D joke. It was like what like your first D&D character versus your last D&D character with that left brain right brain audio. And then yeah, so some people like that, and then I just kind of make content about a lot of things, but I made like one thing about my D&D party that blew up. And then people started asking me questions about D&D. Like, I did not get on TikTok with the intent of, like, I'm going to create Dungeons & Dragons content. But I made it a D&D TikTok, and that kind of blew up. And I was like, oh, people like this. So I made some other content, and that blew up. And then people just were asking me questions about D&D. So I just started answering questions. And then that brought in more people who like D&D who had more questions. So, and then I was like, this is what I do now. And then, you know, like Moose asked me to be on a stream once. And so I started streaming I did a stream with him. It was like a one shot. And then I started streaming more. And now we're here.
Now we're here. That's awesome, though. I mean, it is really interesting. Like, a lot of people were like, I started making TikToks because bored. And people like. And now I do all the things.
And now because I've met people, like, there was this brief period in the summer before Delta came out, but after most of my friends were vaccinated that I could like socialize.
Yeah.
And I was like meeting people, and they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, I swear I used to have a personality outside of Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I promise you I did, but for the life of me, I can't remember what it was, because all I do now is talk Dungeons and Dragons, D&D streams, like D&D podcasts, making content. Like, even when I do commissions now, it's for like, oh, I do art. People, you can commission me if you have like a podcast or something needs cover art. But like, all of that is also just it's all Dungeons, all Dragons.
I love that.
That's awesome.
And also incredibly relatable. That's very fun. Well, I guess that's a good segue into the last question we have, and then we'll get to our audience questions. What's your biggest hobby outside of D&D?
I guess art. I guess. I say as someone who graduated college with an art degree.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. It's so weird because even my non-D&D hobbies have circled around to somehow being related to D&D.
Yeah, they're all D&D adjacent.
Yeah, but I think just drawing, that's probably my biggest hobby outside of D&D, or sleeping, or watching TV. Watching TV counts as a hobby when you do it the way I do it. I am a marathoner. It takes skill. I can watch, like, I watched like 7 seasons of Doctor Who in 2 weeks during a school year. Wow. I watched like 9 seasons of Supernatural. Like I can keep up with the best of them.
Wow.
That is impressive, honestly.
I theoretically like video games. My problem is, like, for as much as I obsessively watch TV, I am so much worse when I get into a game that I like. So, like, I actually have to pace myself, because all I will just be sitting, you know, on a couch days at a time trying to beat a video game. So I do have to pace myself. So that's not something I do as much. But I think it's just mostly just drawing and hanging out. I like to write too. Sometimes I forget that. I enjoy writing as well.
Nice.
Just prose mostly. Yeah. My hobby is just finding new hobbies.
That's relatable.
Mm-hmm. Something give the kid burnout.
Oh, yeah. Yep, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to our chat questions. Community DM asks, do you have a preference between being a player or a DM? Is there one you gravitate more towards?
I gravitate more toward being a player because I don't like having to prep. But I like to be... So I'm usually playing in at least one, generally several campaigns at once across streams and home games and friend groups. I like to be DMing at least one of them. I don't want to... DMing more than one thing at a time, I have learned, is hell for me, and I do not enjoy it. But I really do enjoy DMing. So I would say I want to maybe at least a 3-to-1 player to DM ratio of anything I'm doing. Yeah. Because there's just something about getting to make all the NPCs and, kind of breathe life into a world. And also just watching your players be genuinely excited to interact with something you made. Like watching your friends just be so happy to just figure out whatever story you're laying out before them. That is just its own sort of just pure joy. And that I think that's a really, really valuable part of DMing.
Yeah.
That's super valid.
Let's see. Pinsnip asked, if you were to make a campaign out of your favorite book series, what book series or book, which series of book would you choose and why?
Good question.
Do you have a favorite world you would make a campaign in?
Oh. I don't... See, the thing is, my brain just gets caught on favorite book. One of my favorite books is Catch-22, which is literally just a book about the absurdities of war and World War II. Yeah. And I do like chaos, and I really just want to do a campaign set in the modern world. And I don't know, or just the actual world. And I don't know how magic comes in, if it's they just happen to have magic. I like the idea of having magic and being able to shoot fire at your head and still having to deal with bureaucratic bullshit, very Eberron type of energy.
Yes.
But that, or I would just I want to do a romance campaign. That's the energy I want to do. A Bachelorette. It's not a book series. I don't read a whole lot of books. I do watch a lot of TV.
I enjoyed the difference in that answer. It was very fun. Just if you were to do a Bachelorette, how would you do that in a game?
That's a great question.
Have you thought about it?
Well, okay, because I thought about it only because, Persephoroth, or Persephone Valentine, she was going to do, she was going to call it Critical Love and wanted to do a Bachelor D&D campaign. And I think I would set up, I think it would be The Bachelor, but better. So instead of just one Bachelor and all of the Bachelorettes or vice versa, it'd just be a free-for-all in some way.
Yes.
And everyone trying to vie for each other's affections, trying to team up. I do want there to be an actual life or death component in it. It's just RP, and then all of a sudden it's okay, you do actually have to defeat a lich with your loved one. And maybe that's the true, they say the true test of a relationship is, going through a family member death or will one of them become sick. But sometimes the true test of a relationship is, can you get through a dungeon together? Can you communicate? Can you listen?
Oh my gosh, relationship step by steps going through a relationship with dungeons would be very fun.
I also really, really want to I haven't found a campaign that started up recently that's been conducive to it, but I really want to do a campaign where me and another player character are married but in a very strained relationship, and our therapist told us we should try adventuring, maybe we can see another side of each other, and that's the dynamic. I want it so bad.
That sounds so much fun though.
I love the concept around dungeons and dating. It's a very solid
It'd be a really interesting one-shot series too, just constantly bringing new character. That'd be very cool. Let's see. So Dragon Emperor 3 said, if you were to make a new class, what would it be?
Good question. A very good question.
God.
And a very hard question to answer.
Yeah.
God. So, I had talked about this. This was like a project. It's one of the many projects that's kind of... So, I need to talk about... First, I don't need to, but I am going to talk about how things work in my mind. Which is that when I visualize thoughts in my mind, I see a giant, open, cylindrical tube with, like, ball pit balls, right? All falling in slow motion. And each of these little balls is a different project I have going on. And you can't let them hit the bottom. Once they hit the bottom, you forget. Sometimes you have to tap it, push it up, do a little bit here and there. Sometimes you finish the project, sometimes you don't. I don't know if this makes any sense, but this is to say, one of the ball pit balls right here is a class that is just based off of being an indebted college student that's somewhere of like a cross between a wizard and a warlock. And it also would come with feats that you can take in the class. Like I want to study abroad feat where you can learn additional languages, but like anytime you reference your study abroad, you have to roll charisma with disadvantage or something because no one wants to hear about your study abroad.
So your patron is the institution and it's like draining you.
Yeah, your patron is the institution, and it's like, as long as you're in the institution, like, your spells cost a lot more, but you also can, it'd be good for a roleplay heavy campaign because you have connections, and then, like, figure out, like, a Greek life situation or, like, honor society, and then I had, like, I was talking about this on live with people, and, like, different archetypes of student, like, the subclass is what kind of student you are, so, like, I was on housing staff, which is, if you know anyone who is ever an RA, it is its own energy, its own sort of trope. So like that was one, or like a Greek life student, or a student athlete, or like a stoner, or like a theater kid, like that.
The help desk guy, right? Like the one who sits
yeah.
at the front desk.
Yeah, I'm fully like
someone who
picturing
plays
just
Ultimate.
a whole
Yes.
adventuring party where it's like all multi-class of this class of student thing, and then whatever they studied, and it's just like 4 people going out to pay their student loans.
Oh yeah,
like,
and
they're
that's
just going out into the world to get enough money to pay their student loans.
okay. Yeah, and that's the other thing too, because like you know how Paladins, you have Paladin oaths, and then there's an Oathbreaker subclass. It's optional if you want to go that route. There's also a Dropout subclass, and the Dropout subclass, you do lose some of the institutional prestige, but you are able to learn on your own in the real world, and you've no longer like it's a lot easier for you to copy spells and stuff because it's not expensive because you don't have to pay off all of your student loans, or you only have to pay off part of them. Because I was like, I don't want to penalize people mathematically for being college dropouts. You don't know anyone's situation, and also like you don't actually like. I don't like the idea that you need college to be successful, but there's also a lot of other valid things. But maybe you want some of the benefits of the college kid class without getting the degree as
the college experience. Yeah,
and then as you level up, like the different level boons are just like graduate degrees.
I love that.
Amazing. That's very good flavor.
I think that's wonderful. Let's see. Pinsnip asked, what would your Frost Maiden character's favorite pizza topping be?
Interesting.
Always
this
a good
just,
question.
It's just funny because my Frost Maiden character, backstory secret thing, she did eat a person once, and the party just found out about it. It was very bad. She was starving the tundra. Is only person. Yeah, very dark. So, but she did not enjoy that. So I would say she probably likes peppers or pineapple. She'd probably like pineapple on her pizza just to be annoying to other people, like just so other people get mad about it.
Favorite stuff out of spite, always a good choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen, if you put the topping on your pizza that nobody else likes, you don't have to share your pizza.
That is exactly why I get pineapples and jalapeno on my pizza when my family, like if I'm ever with my family and no one wants to order it and I have to order, I'm like, I do one for myself. I get my own pizza to myself.
Fair.
Amazing.
Fair. Let's see. Commune asked, if you could pick one spell to take into your everyday life, what would it be?
This on unprepared casters.
Always a good question.
In the session 0 of Arc 3, which I'm in if you want to listen to it, anyone.
Ooh.
But I said wish, because here's why wish is it a cop-out? Yes. But I don't care, because if I'm getting magic, I'm absolutely taking the cop-out. Because if I have wish, I can cast every other spell. Or it's like if I mess up with wish and I can no longer, cast magic. That's where I'm at now. Like I'm already me and Amelia, believe it or not, I'm not actually magical. I cannot actually cast spells. So I'm just going to screw around with the wish spell and hope it makes more problems for other people than it does for myself.
Fair.
That or fireball.
Fuck around, find out sort of answer.
That's finding out is like my favorite thing to do after fucking around.
In that exact order. The order of operations is important.
It's like a little reward.
As like a reward.
Mr. Adup asked, what's your favorite D&D story to tell people? Tell us your favorite D&D story.
Oh, what's my favorite D&D story? All of my D&D stories have left my memory immediately.
That's always how it works with questions.
Mood.
Oh, God. What's Dungeons and Dragons? Okay, I've played Dungeons and Dragons before. I have done things. Let's see. There was the time my bard kind of single-handedly took down an airship and almost died, but didn't. That was really fun.
That is epic.
Basically, we had there were 2 airships that were in battle. We had a Paladin maintain and I think a greater invisibility on my character, where I took a visit. Oh gosh, this is so long ago. I dimension doored to the other ship. I snuck around invisibly in the lower decks. It was powered by air elementals, so I basically put these little bombs that like didn't kill the elementals, but they broke the prison so they could escape.
Aww.
No, they were fire elementals. Sorry, this has been a while. And yeah, and so it took several rounds. It came down to dice. I almost died. Then the ship, unfortunately, as soon as I got rid of the fire elementals, the ship started free falling about 500 feet around as
holy shit.
Do. And my character would have died, except earlier on in the campaign, we gave the monk a ring of dimension door, and he was able to get on the ship, and they saved me away. And that is the only D&D story I can think of right now.
It's a solid story.
It's a good story.
Yeah.
Pinsnip asked, are there any other TTRPG systems you want to try out?
Yeah. So, because I've played a few different Powered by the Apocalypse systems. I played like 2 sessions of Blades in the Dark because that was kind of like with, again, Sam keeps coming back. With that group, whenever someone couldn't make it, we kind of had other like mini campaigns that were going on at the same time, like if specific people weren't there. And so we played like a few sessions of Blades in the Dark, and I really like it. I really like the way they handle experience as it's so if you don't know, basically like doing things in character, referring to your character backstory, and working in those aspects of your character, not just mechanical decisions, but also mechanical decisions give you experience points to Blade in the Dark, kind of similar to how it works in Powered by the Apocalypse systems. And I just really like that, but it's a bit more, a little bit, it's crunchier than Powered by the Apocalypse. It's kind of like if everyone was a rogue, but then slightly different. And I really like that system. I'd like to play more of it. I backed the Avatar RPG on Kickstarter, so I'm really excited to see that one. I've DM'd like 1 game of Thirsty Sword Lesbians. I'd like to do more with that. And I'm really excited for Coyote and Crow to come out later this year. So those are ones I want to see.
It's looking really good.
Yeah, I played like half a campaign before it sort of dissolved of a system called Stars Without Number, which I really liked. It's like a space adventure, kind of Star Wars, Star Trek-esque.
Like an Odyssey sort of thing? I really liked
that. What?
Like a Space Odyssey sort of thing?
Yeah. And they actually have, I don't remember the name of the website. Someone made a website to help generate planets and stuff, which is just a good resource if you're doing any sort of, like, it just generates an entire field of star systems and, like, different planets of different complexities and, like, resources and that.
That's neat.
Yeah, oh gosh, I wish I could remember the name of the website, because that's just helpful if you're doing any sort of space campaign.
Yeah.
But the thing I really liked about Stars Without Number is you are very vulnerable. Like, D&D is, once you hit like level 10, you could get stabbed several times and be fine. Stars Without Number, like, you could play for a while, but like if you get shot with a plasma rifle, you're gonna probably I kind of want to play a game where there's more inherent risks with any kind of combat. I like games that make you make more like realistic decisions. And I mean, I also like D&D, like obviously, but I kind of want more of something else, like in addition to it, because I think that makes roleplay. It makes it a different kind of roleplay, and
like a little more grindhousey without the constant grind sort of thing.
Yeah, and a little bit like, what does it look like when you're trying to be a hero when you don't have superpowers, when you are just a person who's trying to make a difference?
Mm.
And it's a different kind of story, and so I want to play something that's more in that kind of story as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think we're almost to the end. My question for you, have you ever played Pathfinder before?
I have not played Pathfinder because my group plays Pathfinder when I can't make it to like other games. I really do want to play Pathfinder at some point though, because I know enough about it, and your girl likes crunch, and I know that's, for better or worse, how Pathfinder is done.
That's the crunchiest D&D ever. Is Pathfinder.
I really like Pathfinder.
It's
I
like
played it in college, and then I am on and off playing it now. Pathfinder 2E, Josh and I are playing, and it's very fun.
Yeah.
I also like a lot of what they did with the flavor of some of the characters. I really like changelings. I have a changeling in Pathfinder, and it's very fun.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well,
do we want to show what we did?
Yeah, I think we've made it to the end, haven't we? Yeah,
we did. That was our last question from chat.
Hi, this is my mayor I've made.
Cute.
He looks I'm very pleased with him. He came out really well.
I always love looking at like all of your tiny details before I show a really, really like
sloppily
painted like monstrosity.
I love the mouth.
That's my boy. At the moment.
That color is very good. I'm thinking the bad guy from Monsters, Inc. What's his name?
Randall.
Randall!
He's
got Randall vibes.
Yeah.
What you got, Amelia? How'd you do? How'd it go?
I just painted this guy white because I had no it was either answer questions or add colors, but I think I got it a nice base coat.
Yeah. It's looking good.
Nice.
It's a good looking mini. They make really good stuff.
I'm excited.
They make good minis.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Amelia, before we do announcements and all that jazz, and stick with us, my friends, because we're going to do some announcements, then we're going to do some rating of D&D friends. But before we do any of that, one more time, if they want to find out about all these secret upcoming projects and see your amazing work, where do they find you?
You can find me at Ameliasom most places, except for Twitter. It's at Amelia_Som, or just save all the time and go to links.ameliasom.com. And if you go there, you can see my website, ameliasom.com, where I'm selling postcards, and I forgot to mention it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They're really cool postcards.
What?
Do you guys want to see a postcard?
Yeah,
I don't know where
please.
They're, again, 2 steps away. Okay. So, I got the message cantrip that you can send to your friends.
Aww.
You can viciously mock your friends. Some of the
that.
information on the vicious mockery one is incorrect because I didn't notice it until after it was printed, but limited edition. You can cast sending to your friend with 25 words.
That's so good.
That's really cute.
Guys, never forget that talking is a free action.
That is adorable.
And you can send this postcard to your friend. It's just a regular, completely unassuming postcard. Just kidding, it's a mimic!
Oh my gosh.
Where can they purchase these? Where can they get these?
Ameliasom.com.
You need to get over there now. Those are amazing.
I love those.
Amelia, hold on. I'm putting it in chat.
Heck yeah.
But while I'm putting that in chat, ameliasom.com, right? Oh, look, our mods did it. Thank you, mods. We love you. Guys, click on that link. Go get yourself some stuff. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that with you. And thank you to our amazing partners, Soundtail, who bring a bunch of ambiance to our games. Guys, if you want cool atmosphere music for your games, click on the link in chat. Alex is going to put it there in a second to get yourself a copy of Soundtail. It's an amazing app. Parker, over to you.
I'm here to remind you that we're affiliated with Found Familiar Coffee. If you'd like to taste Initiative or get any more D&D inspired coffee with 10% off your order, you can use the code in chat or the link. We are also affiliated with Crafty Gamer, and they do these wonderful immersion candles that are my favorite, called the Aromas of Adventure, that I really, really enjoy. You guys can use the code to get 10% off. They also have fun things like that coaster that I gave Josh, because until yesterday I wasn't a dungeon master.
Smells like wood.
It does smell like wood. This one smells like Forest Wilds, and it's great. So you can use the code to use that as well. Back to you.
Okay, and a huge thank you, last but not least, to our mods, who are phenomenal. They keep our community safe and awesome, and we appreciate them for it. They keep up with our ridiculous announcements. Much love to our mods. I think it was Alec today, Community DM. Thank you very much for modding. And one last final thank you to you, Amelia. This was a delight. We learned so much. Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Stay for a raid.
Bye.
And we're...